In this video, I will migrate James' website from Bluehost to Siteground. So in order to follow along and migrate your website as well, you will need login credentials to your WordPress website. You will also need login credentials to where you are currently hosted, whether it's Bluehost, GoDaddy, HostPapa, whoever. You're also going to need your Siteground login credentials because we're going to use their built-in migrator that is free. If you don't already have a Siteground hosting account, you can go through my affiliate link at gocreate.me/hosting. This is the company that I personally use for all of my websites. I love them. Their support is awesome. And you get a lot for your money, including free security certificates, free email addresses, free daily backups, and lots more. If you go through my affiliate link, I do earn a small commission, but this helps me create more free videos for you. And you'll also need login credentials to your domain name registrar. Now, this will vary. For some, you may have registered your domain from the same service provider where you bought your hosting. So this is the case here for James. He registered his domain through Bluehost. If you don't know, you can navigate your way to domain, and then under registrar, you should be able to see what company that is. So if your domain name was bought somewhere else, you will also need login credentials to where your domain name was purchased. This may be Namecheap, for example, or it could be GoDaddy, or it could be lots of domain name registrars. So it goes domain registrar to name servers, and the name servers can be migrated to Siteground, or we could leave the name servers here, but then only point the website to Siteground using the A record. If we do that, the email would still remain with Bluehost. So today what we're going to do is we're going to move the name servers to Siteground. If you don't see this screen here, please refer to my other free course you can enroll and then watch the Getting Affordable and Reliable Hosting with Free Email Addresses, SSL Certificate, and more. If you watch this module, make sure that you stop once you reach the screen that you're seeing here, because the instructions will diverge, as this is to help you set up a brand new website. And right now what we're trying to do is migrate your existing website. So let's go ahead and get started by clicking this button here. And I want to transfer an existing project. We have two options. In this video here, I will explain how to do this one yourself. So here I'm going to click select and continue. And I do not want to buy this extra service. Now we just have to be patient. WordPress has been installed. Now we want to download the plugin, and that's being downloaded to my desktop. It's ready. I need to install this plugin on my existing site. So I'm already logged into this site here. I'm going to work my way down to plugins and then add new. I'm going to upload a plugin, which is right here. Now I'm going to install it. And activate it. Great. If I go back to my instructions, it says that once you have activated the plugin, we need to use the token. So I'm going to copy that token. And down here on the bottom left, you have SG Migrator, Siteground Migrator. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to put Control V to paste this token. And I'm going to change the email address to mine so I can be notified when the migration is over. So here I'm going to continue. Although it says it's being changed to this, it is exactly the same domain. That's okay. Now this will take a long while, so you probably want to leave this tab open and you can go and do something else. Just leave this running. They will email you once it's done, but do keep the tab open so you can always come back and look to see how you're doing with the progress. So once the plugin is done doing its job, you will be presented with this screen. So they've set us up with a temporary URL so that way we can check it. So let's go and click that. And there we are. It looks good. Now we've checked the site and it looks right, but remember we're going to set up the email as well. And we need to do that now before we point the name servers. Otherwise you will experience a disruption in email services. Before I started this migration, James archived all of his old emails from Bluehost. And now I'm going to create a new email account here. So these two accounts will be separate. So I highly recommend you archive or possibly forward important emails to another email address that you have so that you don't lose those emails that are sitting in whatever inboxes you may have. In Siteground, I will go and duplicate the same email address that James has on his Bluehost account. So I'm going to check to see what email accounts James has set up. So I'm going to go to advanced here. The email and office interface is unfortunately very glitchy on Bluehost, so I don't recommend going through that. So going through advanced will still work. And then we need to navigate our way down to email accounts. As I can see here, he has james@jamesewisher.com. So this is the email account that I need to duplicate on the new hosting. So on Siteground, I just need to go to email accounts, and then I will create this new email account. And I will give it a password that James will be able to change, and I'm creating the account. Great, so it's been created. In here, I can make some changes. I can maybe give the mailbox more room. So I've given him more space here, and he was using, this email inbox was smaller here, so he's got lots of room on the new inbox here. So now I have the email account. Obviously, James will then have to add this email account to whatever devices he was using to monitor his email. And he can do that by going through mail configuration and then looking and setting up whatever the password I put in, and he can change that. And he can change the password by going through here and entering a new password. So I've got my email account set up. I'm going to backtrack and find the DNS section again. So I'm back on the Bluehost site. If I look at the domains and then manage this domain, go back to the DNS. Now that the site has been migrated and I've got my email account set up on the new hosting, I'm ready to now point the name servers to Siteground. So I'm going to copy this name server here and then change it here. So when you do this, I'm going to do custom, and I'm going to paste this one here, and the second one I believe just had 2 instead of 1, but I will double check. Yeah, that's basically it. So now propagation will begin the minute I do save. So just before you do that, just double check the site has been migrated and you've also got your email set up. So let's do save. And what's happening now, we're sending a message. They're telling all the servers that the site files and the email is no longer with Bluehost, it is with Siteground. So this is what we call propagation, and it can take anywhere from 5 minutes to up to 72 hours. Typically, it rarely lasts longer than 48 hours. So you just want to be patient here. And you can also monitor that. If you Google, where's my DNS? You will find various DNS checker, but I'll just pick the first one here. And then if I put jamesewisher.com, and I'm looking for the name servers NS, and I do a search. Already it's telling me that it's propagated in most of the places here. So this is not showing you all the servers in the world, obviously, but we see that it's happening really fast. So if I type in James E. Wisher now and I refresh it, I don't know if I'm looking at the old site or the new site just yet, because it depends on which server my local internet connection is getting the content from. So don't touch your site for the next couple of days, but you can go ahead now and start installing your email account, and you can also access webmail. So for James, he uses webmail. So for his account here, he can still access webmail through this interface, and he may be able to import his email archive from the Bluehost archive to this new webmail service. Just Google how to import, export email archive based on whatever email program you have. And this one here is called Roundcube. And in here, you also want to make sure that you have your security certificate sorted. So under Security SSL Manager, Siteground offers free SSL certificate. After pointing the name servers to Siteground, you will be able to apply for a security certificate. Now it's telling me that I can't do this just yet because the DNS is not pointed. That's because of propagation. So I just have to be patient here. Give it a few more hours, then I will reattempt this again. And then once SiteGround sees that the DNS is pointed to them, I will be able to install and activate the security certificate. Now, if you need to authenticate MailerLite, you need to do that again with your new server. So it's just a matter of going through your domain zone editor. Once the propagation is over, you will be able to add new text records here. But as of right now, it's not hosted by SiteGround, so I have to wait for propagation to be over, and then I can re-authenticate by adding new text records as instructed by your newsletter provider. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just use your newsletter provider name and authentication and Google that. So MailChimp authentication, MailerLite authentication, and you'll find a page that will walk you through how to do it step by step. As a side note, this probably does not apply to you, but sometimes people built site a long time ago and they have files outside of their WordPress installation folder. So it doesn't hurt to go and check your file manager and then navigate your way to public HTML. This is where the visible site is. And I can tell you here that sign up is not a regular folder. WP admin, WP content, WP includes are all regular folders for WordPress. And what you see down here, this all looks normal. These are Google authentication keys, error logs, that's fine. And these are regular WordPress files. Anything you see with WP, these are regular ones. That's WordFence, a security plugin, robots, PHP ini are regular files. But I'm seeing this folder here called sign up, but it has nothing in it. So this is just a hidden folder. So I think I am okay. I do not need to move this folder. But if you see anything else that perhaps you had set up before, maybe email whitelist instructions or some other loose files that you had from back in the day that you still need, then you will need to download these files to your desktop and then upload them to the new server. And I'm assuming you know how to do that. The file manager here is very similar for both services. If you go to Site, there's a file manager, and you could also find your way to public HTML, and then you could upload files or create folders and duplicate those files that need to be changed. 99% of people will not have to do this, but if you had some older files that you know you still need, then don't forget to do that. So I did the regular SSL certificate here. There we go. It says it's installed. So down here, I will enforce the HTTPS and I will force that to go in. So we're good. I highly recommend you take a few minutes and then double check everything that could have been broken when you migrated your site. It doesn't hurt to try to sign up again to your newsletter to test out any contact form you may have to make sure they still work. So it appears to work on the front end. I'll check with James to make sure you got my message and that things are still working. And last but not least, once you've done the migration and you've waited a full 72 hours to make sure that propagation is indeed complete, you can go ahead and cancel your old hosting plan. Be careful not to cancel the domain name if your domain name is also registered through your hosting company. So here, if I click on products, the hosting plan here is what can now be canceled because hosting is now provided by Siteground. The domain name here needs to be renewed. You need to keep this because if you don't renew it, somebody else will steal it when it expires and then try to sell it back to you for a lot of money. Now, other things you may want to keep getting. So domain privacy and protection, that's associated with the domain name. That's okay to leave this here, that's fine. Site Backup Pro, that's backing up the website files, but they are no longer on Bluehost. So this one here can be canceled. And Site Lock Security and Fine can also be canceled because that's no longer happening on this side. This is happening on Siteground. Cancel the products as you see fit. You may or may not qualify for a refund. Hosting companies have different policies, but you can always check with their support and find out if you do qualify for a refund for any unused portion of your hosting or related services. And this page does not make it easy for you to cancel your hosting. So I Googled how to do that and I got redirected to a page here. So if you Google as well, or you go to this URL, you can find various links and then proceed to request a cancellation. So here they only refund in the first 30 days, but after that you need to actually call and you make sure that you've got all of that information ready to go, and then you can proceed to cancel your account. At least do that before your next renewal date so you don't spend money that you may or may not get back. So make sure you wait for the propagation to be fully over, a full 72 hours to be safe, and then go ahead and cancel your account after you check and see that the site is alive and well on Siteground and your email is working and all is good.